Boris Johnson balls out talking about NATO troops, British troops on the ground inside Ukraine. So Putin's, maybe I've been watching too much RT, right, but Putin's threats yesterday, which were on camera, he was making the threats. It's hard to spin the threats he's making, it's to think about what they're there for. And then today we've got this wee ditty from RT, and they're talking about, it's all quotes from the Russian intelligence services, right? So pinch of salt and all that jazz. But they're talking about like NATO now want to put a freeze on the Ukrainian conflict, get NATO troops in there as peacekeepers and sort of consolidate the ground they've got, you know, now that Putin's Putler has threatened them with the big guns. But listen to what Bobo Johnson has to say, and this again, this is words out his own mouth. You can spin it and use it, and Bobo's always good for fucking being a clown, isn't he? But on the same token, it's words out his own mouth. Let's have a look.
To make sure that happens, including sending troops.
For my money, that has to be NATO. I don't see any alternative. Now, you ask, what would be the UK commitment? Well, I think we should. I hope this would be something that appeals to President Trump as well. It would be a commitment that is very substantially funded by the Ukrainians themselves. So I think we should certainly.
Cha-ching! So they're our bitch, and they have to pay us to be our bitch, because all that, see all this money and all that that's floating about, it's all loans, and the vast majority, if not more or less all of it, is going to the Western military industrial complex.
Be putting troops in to backfill? Absolutely.
British troops?
Yeah. The problem has not been escalation. The problem has been the failure to escalate fast enough. It's been the dithering and the delay and the nickel and diming of the measures. We're waging a proxy war, but we're not giving our proxies the ability to do the job. And for years and years now, we've been allowing them to fight with one hand tied behind their backs, and it has been cruel. It has been cruel.
Or deliberate. If you just wanted one big meat grinder to make dough for the Western military industrial complex, it's been perfect. It's been ideal. Now, can you imagine if Bobo Johnson was in charge, man? We would be throwing nukes at each other right now, man. But this is getting tasty, innit? Let's see how the RT finishes this up.
So it seems that we're now seeing parts of that plan being discussed in public, because what Boris Johnson said there was that those troops should be deployed not to fight the Russians, but to be part of a multinational European peacekeeping forces monitoring the border and supporting Ukrainians. Where did we just hear that from? This is exactly what the SVR was warning about. And also,
the SVR, I believe that's like the Russian intelligence services. So remember, this is the Russian intelligence services, you know, just like the BBC in wartime. The messaging you get about war is straight out of MI6, you know, there's no ifs, no buts, no maybes, that's where it's coming from. Same rules apply with RT, and I don't know whether he's know this, I think they've kind of admitted it in the public now. Britain and the West and NATO are at war with the Russian Federation and their allies, namely China, Iran, and North Korea. That's who I was missing out there, because that's all who's involved. China's giving Russia chips, Iran's giving them drones, and South Korea's giving them troops. They're all in it, guys and girls. And then that's what she was talking about there. She's talking about like what NATO's try to get out of jail relatively free card is to consolidate the areas they've got, go for a peace deal to regroup, basically, chop it into 4 regions, the Brits, the Germans, the Romanians, weirdly, and the French, I think it was as well, all having each regions to like patrol with peacekeeping forces, 100,000 of them. But again, that's what RT, Russian intelligence services, is saying, using quotes openly from the Russian intelligence services. So pinch of salt. But is that really what's under? And as we witness kind of radio silence on the Western press, or the Western, I wouldn't even say press, no, because on AP and Reuters and all that, you still get news. But on the Hypno box press and the internet press, they're all focused on other shit. But there we have it, man. Interesting times. Boris Johnson openly calling for NATO, aka British boots on the ground. NATO and British boots on the ground inside Ukraine. And who says the world isn't at war, folks? Who says, remember, go and buy your muck meat at McDonald's. The war machine needs you. And it isn't a wartime economy, it's a cost of living crisis. That's what we'll call it. Get it? Remember World War II had a Ministry of War? Now during World War III we have a Ministry of Defence. Well, we're at war. Get it? Got it? Good. Cat cheese, no cats, no cheese. Maybe only McDonald's muck burgers were hurt in this filming.